Hey guys, welcome to Make You Remarkable, a brand new podcast brought to you by Oconee State Bank. I'm your host, JT Tomlin, and on this podcast, we're going to be talking all things leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal development. Our goal is to ignite purpose and inspire passion in our listeners by asking them the question, how will you make you remarkable? We'll be interviewing local legends, business owners, and leaders within our communities and asking them about their road to success. Like, what kind of steps did they take to get where they are now? What does it mean to be a leader? And how can I lead my team? As well as what kind of mark they've made and what kind of mark they hope to leave in the future. This is going to be an amazing podcast, and we cannot wait for you to listen to it. So make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and follow us on social media at Oconee State Bank for more information. Today, I'm joined with Cannon Gaines, founder and CEO of Gaines Group Activations. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks for coming. Tell me a little bit about yourself and about the Gaines Group Activations.
Yeah. So I started Gaines Group Activations in spring of 2023. So January. I'm a grad student right now. So pairing both of those is a lot to deal with on the plate. But we started that as a full service marketing agency to help support and navigate the NIL space for brands or for businesses, local businesses preferably, using athletes at the University of Georgia or other schools. So we're looking to expand local right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got UGA right here, so it's a perfect resource for you.
Mm-hmm.
How long, the NIL deal is it's pretty recent too, right?
Yeah, so legislation for a couple states came out in the summer of 2021. So that's when I really started diving into it, reaching out to mentors, figuring out internships and stuff. And just recently I thought, hey, I can do it myself. So
yeah. What kind of started you along that path? What made you want to go down that?
Yeah, so I've had a number of internships. I think I can dedicate that passion to those places. I worked with Icon Source. That's a technology that was used to pair businesses and athletes and kind of be hands-free and let them, work out what they want to work out for activations such as social media promotion, an in-store giveaway or signing, autograph signing, whatever it may be, an appearance. We kind of did that there. Great mentors there, Drew Butler, Mick Hamilton, Lindsay Weisbord, Will Harrell, great people. We worked with all of them there. And then I moved on to Classic City Collective, and then that was more Georgia-focused. Not by being directly aligned with the school. It's more of an outside entity.
Yeah.
It's the technicalities are confusing with NIL because there's not a lot of legislation on that yet. So the collective was established to support the athletes at the University of Georgia, specifically using Athens-based, Georgia-based businesses, Southern businesses who know and support University of Georgia.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what NIL is. Like, what does that actually mean for the players?
Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
Yeah. So name, image, and likeness. That's the acronym of NIL. So basically, if you think a couple years back, there was an incident with Todd Gurley. That's the one I mainly think of. He signed jerseys, I think, and he got, I think it was paid under the table or something. Something seemed sketchy, right? That seems like something that I think, and a lot of people think that players should be able to do, is profit off their name, images, and likeness.
Yeah, because the school definitely is.
Right. So they're selling number 3 Todd Gurley jerseys his whole time, and probably still to this day. But the NCAA, and I think it was the Department of Justice of the United States, said that these student athletes they should be profiting off of themselves also. Yeah. While the school was kind of almost taking advantage of them. That has now flipped to NIL and what it is today, and it continues to evolve. So there are new rules in every state and nationally that are being brought up in courts around the world, or not around the world, around the nation. It's really interesting. So
it basically just means that the student athletes are able to make money off of their name through like brand deals and like commercials, or is there anything else other than that, or what else?
Brand deals, commercials, appearances, camps, anything that involves using their leverage as a successful student athlete, whether that be athletics and academics, specific plays, what they're known for. I don't know. Some would have celebrations with they call somebody or something, and then maybe T-Mobile would want to reach out and do something and capitalize on that. You see a lot of that in pro sports. Gronk is a good example. He does a lot of brand deals. Shaq does a lot of brand deals.
I still see that printer commercial with Shaq.
Right, yeah.
Every single
or
day.
the General, whatever he's got going on. Papa John's, he's got it all. A lot of those professional athletes have strong marketing teams behind them, but not a lot of college athletes have those marketing teams behind them. And so I wanted to step in and kind of be a solution to my friends. Not only are they student athletes, but they're my friends because I worked at football for 4 years. And so I just wanted to help them essentially and get experience for myself.
So tell us a little bit more about your time working for the UGA football team. What did you do? What kind of got you into this field?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. The past 4 years have been unlike any other. I mean, my time at Georgia, when I think about going to school, I don't really think about going to class, think about going to football. I'm not going to lie. But it's been great. I got to go to so many different road games, be in Sanford Stadium for amazing home games. Nice. We got to see, just the Natty this last year. It was cool to just go to those things, meet all those people. I know people across the whole country now in the NFL, text with them occasionally. It's just cool to see a network like that grow and expand and watch the young men who come and wear the red and black grow themselves at the program and then go find success when they leave. Yeah. So I worked there. I was a student equipment manager. The glorious parts of the job were probably running the sidelines, working with the ref team, warming up the players, and then the not so glorious side was washing the laundry, doing all the maintenance work, fixing up stuff. We were kind of, if something needed to be done physically, they would just kind of call the managers. So that was kind of what I was, just a utility.
They just reached out to you anytime anything needed to be done. You're like, yep, I'm doing it. I
can probably do that. Yeah. So that's kind of how, I got around the building a lot, got to meet all those coaches, all those players, just, 1 minute here, 2 minutes there, meeting somebody and really seeing them every day. That really established strong relationships that I took into the future and with Javon Bullard particularly. But they're my friends, they're my family, and I think they consider everybody who works there and is a part of the program as family. So
tell us a little bit more about Javon Bullard and how you went from being like the manager at the football team or in the football team to then now being an NIL manager or agent, or what do you define yourself?
That's a good, there's no real term to describe what I do.
NIL person.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah. So I do NIL.
But do NIL. Yeah, there you go.
So I met Javon. He's going into his junior season. So I met him 2 years ago. He was just a little freshman. Not a little freshman. He was bigger than me.
Metaphorically little.
Yeah, metaphorically younger. So I was a defensive back student manager. So they have specialties in the equipment. So they just kind of shuffled me into the Coach Smart and Will Muschamp right now, their group, the defensive backs, which are the safeties, the corners, the stars, really your secondary and the defense. And so I got to learn everything about that position group, all the players, get to know them on a personal level, on a playing level. It was cool. So that's how I met JB. And I just shot him a text this last January when I started, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to do athlete marketing in the future. What do you think if I reach out to businesses on your behalf? How do you feel about that? And he was just all in. So
you're like, yeah, let's do it.
He was like, yeah. So I'm just glad to have him be supportive of me because I'm so supportive of him. We just have a great. It's more of a personal relationship than a business relationship.
Yeah.
So that's something that I value.
And it's a very important thing. Business is very important, but if you don't have some sort of personal relationship, it becomes this exchange of services rather than you're really helping your friend achieve what you know he can achieve. Yeah. And it's really cool to be able to look at it that way and not just from all right, this is just purely transactional. It's more of all right, I actually want to help you succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really cool, but JB, just talking a little bit more on JB, he's a local Georgia kid. He's from Milledgeville. Roughneck, heavy hitter. He had great season last season and looking forward to the next season. So Maybe he stays for this season and has a great year. Maybe he can declare for the draft. I'm really rooting on him for that.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. But local kid, Georgia boy, and a great guy to know. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Buckeye. Wait, I got to get this right. The Bullard's Buckeye Cookie Crunch.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you signed that deal, what inspired that.
Yeah.
Because that was all you, correct?
I wouldn't say it's all me.
You signed it. You got it all connected.
I wouldn't say it's all me. I mean, there's a lot of creative parties involved. So JB was actually, he had his own creative part about it, which we can touch on. But the Buckeye Crunch, or the Buckeye Crunch, it's technical terms, is the Bullard's Buckeye Cookie Crunch. Got to get that right. Yeah, that just came to mind. I thought about local businesses in Athens that might want to work with JB initially. And I just reached out to the first one I knew off the top of my head. And I'd worked with the Dolanders before, Jennifer and Mike Dolander. They're great people, but reached out to them and thought, hey, maybe they want to do stuff with athletes because I know they're alumni fans.
Yeah.
They support the school. So I thought it just made sense. Reached out to them, and they were super accepting of it. We sat down, we had ideas, and it was like a ping pong of ideas. I came in with a different idea, and Mike would have this other idea, and then we'd ping pong back forth what we thought would work. And then really what kind of got the ball rolling on the flavor is Mike said that he had an idea for introducing the flavor, or just a JB signature flavor for a limited time, or for whatever the term deal wanted to be. A lot of details involved with this. But yeah, so we ping ponged that and got the ball rolling on that. JB was contacted immediately after, and I was like, hey, this deal could come up with alumni cookie dough. They want to name a flavor after you. And he was like, what? That's crazy. And I was like, yeah, so what are you thinking? What kind of flavors do you like? What's your favorite kind of dessert? And he's got a sweet tooth for peanut butter chocolate. So he was like, I got to do like Reese's Cups or something. So we did a combination of the Reese's Cup and an Oreo cookie to add the crunch element, just because of his play style, because he's a crunchy hitter.
Yeah.
So, and he just flies all over the field. I could talk about JB for days. He's great. And that's kind of the basis of how the deal started rolling. We got photography services on site and took pictures of him with the product, promoting the product. We leveraged a signed football to kind of encourage customers to come in, and really UGA customers to come in and support alumni cookie dough, support Javon Bullard, and win a signed football, which is great for memorabilia. So I don't know who doesn't want memorabilia. And so all it costed was just to buy a cup of cookie dough, which is already a reward in itself. So we thought it was really cool, and we would promote it on his social media, on the company's social media, and on our Instagram. So that's kind of the structure of how it went. So
yeah. So then tell us a little bit more about like how it got like national attention, because I mean it went from this like great idea to then all of a sudden it's like all over the news. It's your name is like in like multiple different articles. You're like, whoa, where did this come from? Tell us about like, first off, how you first heard about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I was actually sitting in class, and I remember just feeling so helpless because I got this text like, you're big time now, out of the blue, from my old boss. I'm like, what does this mean? He sent the link to the first article, which was Online Athens, so the Athens Banner Herald. And so they wrote about it, and I read about it, and I was like, oh, cool. This is really cool. This is local. This is exactly what I was wanting, exactly what I had thought. And so then I think other news articles and social media spaces started to take up on it, like say, oh, my gosh, this is an NIL deal. Like really what I think happened is there's not a lot of football going on. So all they have is the XFL right now, I think. So people are grasping at trying to talk about football, anything college football, especially the Georgia Bulldogs being back-to-back national champions. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
So yeah, it was something that the social media spaces took up. Other online articles took up. We had 247 cover. We had Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, Fox Sports. We actually got it covered in JB's hometown.
Wow.
His hometown newspaper, Baldwin County. And then it actually got covered up in Columbus, Ohio.
Dang.
So they wrote about it in a paper, which wasn't too kindly worded towards our end. So, but it was
Like,
fine.
oh,
It was cool.
I've never been called that before to my face. Great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it got their attention. So I guess that worked with the leveraging, all that stuff. So it was really cool to just see how the power of how name, image, and likeness can be broadcasted on a national scale.
Yeah.
I mean, this was coast to coast. It got something in California too.
Wow.
I think it was like the Sacramento Bee or something. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, but I would look up every day Bullard's Buckeye Crunch or some sort of version of that, Javon Bullard News, and I look at all the articles and it was saying, new JB NIL deal, and then it just list after list. I had to go on the second page of Google, and I was like,
oh
wow.
my gosh.
I didn't think it would ever blow up to the second page, but and I know that's not a drastic amount, but for me, it's like,
No,
wow,
it's huge.
Oh my gosh. But we got it covered on Twitter. Twitter blew up. There were people asking how could they buy the flavor for their Ohio State friends.
Oh my gosh.
Just as a, kind of a joke for the great game that was. But got on Reddit. It got on television news coverage.
My gosh.
It was crazy, and we're still measuring all the impact that it had. So
and this was relatively recently, right? This was last month?
Yeah, it was I think it was the last week of March that it kind of took off on news outlets. So, and then we launched it on April 1st, and we've been live up until the 15th. So it just ended after G-Day, and the winner of the signed football got announced and everything. So I think it went as smoothly as it could. I knew there'd be bumps in the road that I didn't know, and it was exciting to go through those bumps and figure out those challenges. So.
For sure. So, I mean, you just started your company, and as you're looking towards the future, what are some of the biggest takeaways from this? So you're like, oh, wow, this was really successful. This was unexpected. This was not very helpful, but I mean, it's going to continue to boost your career.
It felt like when all those news articles started writing it felt like a home run. So, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I got texts from friends, cousins. My grandpa, who read the, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he was reading the paper on like a Sunday morning, and he had to pull the paper back from his face trying to read the name because he didn't know. He was like, Canna Gaines?
I know that one. I know someone named Kenny Gaines.
Yeah.
How do I know that?
And I saw him, and he's like, I got the clipping of the paper just back on the kitchen table. But it was just so cool. But as far as propelling myself into a career in athlete marketing, I think it was a great step.
Yeah.
We can only see what the next steps hold. But I'd like to make every activation seemingly on that national scale. If it doesn't seem like it can be, it can be, because this is a prime example of how that can blow up.
Exactly.
And that helps companies like Alumni Cookie Dough grow their brand. They actually reached out to me and said they had a couple of franchise requests for expansion from different interested partners. So that
must be such a good feeling, because you're like, not only have I've been able to start building my own company, but then you're able to see like measurable success with Alumni Cookie Dough and just local businesses that are able to really further their company because of that.
That's why we want to do it. I think that's the best way to view NIL. It shouldn't be viewed as some sort of dirty, pay under the table type method to keep a player at X program. I think it should be expanding on their personal brands, expanding on how they can help the local market that their school sits in, or maybe the regional market or the national. I'm not sure. Georgia is more on the national scale because they've won so many great football games in recent times. And during NIL, it really goes to show that it's valuable to be paired with a Georgia athlete. But I have to give a lot of the success to Javon Bullard's success, right? Yeah. Because that's what we leverage ultimately. And that's what gets that national news, or gets people mad on Twitter, gets people talking wherever. So it's been a lot of that. And I just want to show businesses that that's something that is a valuable marketing tool that you can implement to your own marketing strategies.
For sure.
It doesn't just have to be a guy holding a water bottle where he's like holding his phone. He's like, try this water. And it's just that. That's so bland. I'm not going to go buy your water. when you do that, like we want to do something that's creative.
Yeah.
And so this JB activation with Alumni Cookie Dough is something that I thought was generally leaning towards a creative marketing mindset. And so rather than just, the typical story, whatever, some bland thing.
Yeah.
So we want to make it tailored to every business and what they want to sell, what they want to improve on, what they want to drive. Our main goal here was to drive outsized impressions on their social media pages, on their website traffic, and even on foot traffic in the doors, to try to turn some sales. And so I think that ultimately worked by leveraging that football and by leveraging JB's name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, and it's huge. I mean, especially since we're in Athens where you have this incredible resource, UGA, you're able to, and you have your connections with the football team, you're able to go in and be like, hey, I would love to connect you with another company. And that helps not only, like you said, the local companies who are able to then bring a celebrity, which is crazy because it's like they're college students. So it's like, they can't be celebrities. But then you watch them every Saturday going crazy. And Saturday, is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturdays.
Shoot. It's Saturdays. That's what I thought. The second I said it, I was like, wait, hold up. Am I wrong about this one? Is it Fridays? No, but like you get to watch them Saturday nights, like on TV. And all of a sudden these people who are like coming from high school and then now they're in college and now they're like on TV every Saturday night.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I feel like most programs are leaning this way now and thinking about this, but financial literacy, treating yourself as your own personal brand, as a brand, that can be profitable is something that these student athletes need to be educated on.
For sure.
They should walk into opportunities the right way. It shouldn't be some dirty under the table thing like I mentioned. So partnering with local businesses or maybe working with businesses back home in your home state or your hometown.
Yeah.
And helping those businesses in that community come up with your platform that you've just been given, playing for a great school or whatever great program you may be at. So I think that's a genius way to look at NIL and approach it and see its value from a business perspective too.
Well, you really have this opportunity to really help your community. Like you were just talking about, like this whole podcast is about how do you make your mark on your community? How do you make you remarkable? That's a huge way to, because these people who have now gotten the opportunity of a lifetime to play for incredible schools like UGA, they now have this national spotlight on them. And it can be a little intimidating, but then that's where your job comes in, where you're like, hey, this kind of is intimidating, but I want to help guide you.
Right.
And not in a sketchy way. Because most people would be like, all right, now I've got attention. There's attention on this person. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. Now I can take advantage of him. It's like, no. That's not what I want to do. I want to help you understand what's going on, but then also help your community, help you build your personal brand, and then also help build up the community around you.
Right.
And that's a great way to make your remarkable, you know?
Yeah. I try to be boots on the ground for everybody where I can. So I'm constantly texting, calling people whenever they need it. I'll set up as many extra meetings as we need to for clarity, for education, because it's confusing. There's no real necessarily rules around this, but I think they're coming down the road. So I try to just be a liaison of education and working to get these activations to actually be implemented and work out. So, because oftentimes they fail, they fall through, athletes get busy, they forget. I try to be a calendar with a voice is what I try to describe myself as. I'm saying, hey, we got to post this today. Or we got to show up here today. Like I had to go pick up JB to go take him to the photo shoot for Alumni Cookie Dough because he didn't have a car, so we had to plan all that. So it's really just a lot of wearing every hat, all hats. So yeah,
which makes it fun. I mean, you're like that's the epitome of a local business. You're wearing 15 billion hats and
it's
loving
fun.
Every second of it.
It's certainly fun, and I think that supporting, like I said, the local business aspect is just huge in this. So I'm a small local business, and I want to help other small local businesses, and we all of a sudden have this magnification of being able to market through this talented football player or this talented soccer player or this talented golf player. So you can take it every avenue. It just doesn't have to be football also.
Exactly.
There are plenty of ways to be creative with every other sport, and not just men's basketball and football, every sport. So I want to try to expand that in people's minds and help them understand.
So looking into the future of your company, like what would be the ideal next couple months, next couple years? What would you want to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd like to roll up more clients. And when I say clients, I mean athletes and partners as businesses. So I just want to gain trust ultimately from both the client and the partner by educating, by delivering value, and really just giving them my resume. Like, this is what I've done, this is what I will do, and ensure that it can have a bright upside for both parties.
Do you have any like upcoming projects that you're working on that you can tell us about? I don't know if you can.
Yeah. So I'd like to actually dive into academics, the academic side of being a student athlete. So we've talked with local businesses about that's actually a tutoring service. And so we want to work with athletes to try to enhance the vision that academics is important still. It's not all about your play on the field. It ultimately comes down to your academics and your grades, because you're not going to step on the field if your academics are poor.
Exactly.
That's something that's preached at Georgia, at schools across the nation. So academics is valuable for more than just athletes too. It's K through 12 and up and over. So it's everybody should value academics, no matter what stage of life you're in. So we want to use their leverage at being a student athlete at the University of Georgia. Smart school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's impossible to get into.
Yeah, it's hard to get in. So they're student athletes there. They're both doing school and doing 20 plus hours of work at their devoted programs.
Wow.
So they are balancing so many things in the air I don't even fully know.
Yeah.
So especially with NIL, that can be a headache in itself. So academics, I think, is probably the next route. It'd be a cool route.
And you're still in school, right? Like you graduated in March? When did
So
you
I graduated? Yeah, undergrad in May 2022.
Got
and
it.
then I will complete my grad degree in May 2023. So here pretty shortly. Yeah.
Yeah, which is super exciting, because then you could go fully into your business.
Right. Yeah.
And it's that fun reality of like, you already are fully in your business, but you're also like have this side note of, okay, wait, I'm still doing school. Shoot, I've got to balance.
Got to write a paper here and then actually do business stuff here. Yeah.
It feels so minimal once you like have like this, where it's gone to a national scale. You're like, wow, I have to write a paper right now when I have to respond to all of these comments. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So how do you balance that? How have you been doing that? One step at a time?
Agenda. Yeah. I mean, I try to keep an organized agenda, and I'm a big scratch through guy.
Yeah.
So I'll just write out tasks for the day. And as I think about them, I'll add them on. So the list doesn't get shorter. It just gets longer. But also I have to attribute that to my mom. She's just a go-getter and she does it all. So that's probably why my brain's flying all over the place, trying to figure out all these solutions, all these deadlines, get everything done in a quality amount of time, with quality. My dad, I think he gives me those qualities, as ensuring quality in delivery in whatever product service you do.
Yeah.
So I get traits from both of them probably to keep my balanced schedule. So it's a lot.
It sounds like a lot. I could not manage that much work. It's crazy. All right. So we were talking about like how you organize your day, because you're still in school and you're starting your business. We started your business in January. What are some tips and tricks you would give for people your age doing entrepreneurship and business development right now?
I'd just say be flexible right at the beginning. I have class only 3 days a week. I'm lucky for that, but they're at sporadic times. I've got morning and then late at night, or not late at night, evening. And so I've got to organize that and getting projects done, papers done, presentations, tests, all that.
All the above.
Exactly. Everything they throw at you in grad school. And so I have to mix that in with organizing pitch decks, outreach, getting on calls. It's a lot, or maybe even meeting someone somewhere. It's just a lot. So I keep an agenda, and hopefully that kind of keeps me online. But I'll definitely spray to the side.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who's on the fringe of everything sometimes.
Like, I've got my day written down, but that's just a suggestion. I'll do something else.
Right. Do I need to do that?
Do I actually have to do this project right now? Deadline's tomorrow. You're like, I got till midnight. We're fine.
Yeah, it's a lot of being flexible. So, I mean, it's like any side hustle. I feel like you treat it as your typical 9 to 5, but then you've got your 5 to 9. So I'll might work in that window, but that's kind of the way I put it.
Yeah.
It's just adjacent to ultimately completing school. So
For sure. You're like, once I'm done with school, then I can keep going. You're like, I can kind of get that
fully
that side
right
out of it.
right.
So what are some resources that you would suggest that people, especially in school, that are trying to start up a company?
Yeah.
What are some resources that you would suggest they use?
Yeah. First off, I mean, Georgia has a handful, more than a handful of resources at every student's disposal. They've got programs for accelerated ideas and entrepreneurship. That was a freshman program. You can get started as early as before you take your first class at Georgia in the summer before. I wasn't involved in that, but I thought it was pretty cool. They've got an entrepreneurship track where you can earn your certificate in entrepreneurship through, I think, a couple of courses. And in there, you're not just doing typical coursework. It's not tests. It's creative and critical thinking processes and trying to come up with solutions with data-driven results. And so that's been a really big help for me as far as my strategic thinking. And I also tapped into the UGA SBDC Small Business Development Center, and they had a great class that they set up for us. And it wasn't just UGA. Actually, I was the only UGA student, but it was mostly the community. So it's a great opportunity to network with seasoned entrepreneurs who still had questions about how to structure their business, where to go from here, how to expand, all those things. And they actually sit down with me. They really make time whenever I can make time. So they're very flexible to sit down and provide leadership and ideas for how to structure and go forward. So
wow. So they're not even associated, or I guess they're associated with the school, but they're not enrolled at the school. They're just business owners. Yeah.
I think it was a UGA initiative to promote entrepreneurship both on campus and in the community. So that was spectacular to be involved in.
Well, and that's a huge part of what we've been talking about. It's like really building your career and building up your community. You have to know your community before you can actually do that. Yeah,
I met so many great entrepreneurs in there, and I'll text them occasionally, hey, I'm going to swing by your store. We'll chat for a little bit sometimes. That's why I get off my agenda. So I'm like,
oh, I want to go see someone today.
I try to keep relationships where I can, no matter what. The business part of it doesn't matter. It's the relationships. So
exactly. I mean, like we said, like your business is as important as the relationships you have.
Right. Your relationships will take your business to new heights that you never could imagine. So I try to value each and every person I talk to, and build a relationship with them over time, all of time. So
what is the biggest piece of advice you've ever been given that's helped you within your business journey?
Biggest piece of advice I've ever been given, plain and simple, probably just go for it.
Just go for it.
Yeah. There was another quote by Coach Smart that he had said in one of the team get-ups after practice, and it was, the peak of this mountain is the valley of the next, so keep climbing. And so that was when we were in a tough season and we were winning games, and it was kind of hard to keep focus. We're looking towards greater games, maybe not the next game, which the next game is the most important game. And that's the next peak. That's the next climb. So keep climbing is what I'd tell everybody. No matter how fast you go or how high you climb in a day, at least you move forward. So,
I mean, that's huge. Just like when you think about business, like how can I continue to make progress when it kind of feels like nothing's happening?
Right.
Just one step at a time. You got to keep climbing.
Yeah. And I mean, I've tried to do outreach myself, and it's hard. I know it's hard. I do it in association with school, like doing all that stuff and shooting out emails to new prospecting businesses. And I won't get responses really for a while, just like weeks or something at a time. But it's just difficult, and really just knowing that if you keep pushing, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel eventually. So, and by no means have I reached the other side of the tunnel. So I am guessing that's where it is.
But I'm not there yet.
Kind of know where it is. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I'd say that.
So what was the process of starting your business like? We've kind of talked about the challenges you faced and the successes you've had. What was the process like for starting your business?
I mean, being so new to it all, a lot of texting people, a lot of calling people. Like I had some friends who had worked in roles at banks and stuff, and I was like, oh, what do I do here? What should I do? How do I need to get incorporated and all this stuff?
Yeah.
What's, do I need to get an EIN? What is that?
Like the legality of all of it.
What
It's
is
crazy.
that?
Yeah.
Why do I need to do that? Do I need to do that? Not in like a sketchy way, but I just don't know. So it was a lot of question asking, really, clarity. It was a lot of thinking. Creating a business plan was just, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it's an absolutely necessary thing to do. And UGSBDC helped me kind of structure that and drive my business ultimately on a path of where I want to go, which we've just started. So we're not far on the road, but at least they kind of helped me build a roadmap. And I think that was important to kind of see, hey, if we scale here, we can do this, we can grow here, we can reinvest here, we can get client X a new brand here. It's I don't know, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Really I've had to do a lot of visualizations, which is what I call them, which is essentially a pitch deck for businesses to kind of just show them what I'm going to do or what I think that we can do to maximize their impressions, drive sales, get results, maybe even market research. Didn't talk about this with the alumni cookie dough, but a part of entering your name to win the football is also an opportunity for alumni cookie dough to collect emails and open up email marketing. That opened up a whole new door for them they hadn't thought of. And so it grew them in that sense. And also we got customer demographics from that survey. So we got to show alumni cookie dough who they're selling to, where they're selling it to, how they're affiliated with UGA or Athens. It was valuable questions like that I think really helped bring this to life, at least the alumni cookie dough in a sense.
And that's something that I've learned a lot about, especially business owners right now, is there's kind of this fear getting into more of the digital market, gathering all that information. But I mean, with us, like we're in the younger generation, it's just kind of standard at this point. Like I don't really know many things that I sign up for that I'm not putting my email, my phone number, my address even. It's like, from a business perspective, it feels kind of sketchy, but it's also like, that's what's going on. So like from like a digital native perspective, where this is for us, like texting, emails, like that's kind of TikTok, Instagram. That's like that's our childhood. That's all of it. Yeah.
I understand.
It's like being able to help companies and your community that's kind of struggling to adapt to that. Like, hey, like this is what I know. And it's not that I'm uneducated anywhere else. I'm already educated in this other places, but I want to help you figure this part out. And it's not that you can't, but it's a scary field. I mean, TikTok and Instagram, good Lord, the algorithm changes every three minutes. You're like, it's just, you want to kind of help the people within your community grow there.
Yep. Yeah. It's been really cool to see how we can expand on marketing opportunities through social media platforms. So, analyzing their follower counts, and I'm talking about them as in a player for a business to prospect working with. So players' follower accounts, their engagement rates, how many people are commenting, how many people are liking. Do people care about what this person's posting? Yeah. Because ultimately that's what you're selling. If this person is saying this, posting this, then customer X will feel associated with the client X, what they're saying in their platform, and hopefully tagging along the business, pairing them with that success of that student athlete to hopefully capture the UGA fan, the Athens local, whoever follows college football to see that and grow the brand and the player. So
what advice would you give to local businesses on working on social media? Like how can they grow their social media channels and also interact and make sure that the content they're making isn't just kind of falling on deaf ears, so it's actually really targeting their customers? Right.
So staying active on the platform, I know it can be difficult, and it's very time consuming. Like we had talked about, really understanding the metrics, what the words impressions means, what engagements means, what your views are. Is it getting shared on certain platforms? How to maximize the eyeballs that really see it. If you put money into a billboard, they're going to estimate how many eyeballs you see, but TikTok, Instagram, all those, they're going to tell you exactly how many people saw that and how many times they let it play over.
You have measurable analytics.
How many buttons they clicked.
Exactly.
How long they read it. It's got so many more analytics and tools that will help you decide, hey, this is a smart place to put my money. And I think that's valuable as far as a marketing strategy goes in this day and age.
For sure.
Digital marketing, people are on their phones all the time. You can't walk at Georgia, or you can't drive at Georgia without potentially hitting a student on their phone, probably on TikTok.
Oh, for sure. No, I mean,
Instagram.
It's like every single one you walk down the street.
And that's just exhibit A for people being glued to social media and that avenue. So getting in front of them there is probably today's newspaper. It's today's billboard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What are some resources you would give for people trying to get more on social media or really understand those analytics?
Yeah. Tips to onboard. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, just be open to learning.
Yeah.
It can be so, like, I know Instagram has changed since I got it so many years ago. It's just evolved, and it's got all these different complicated buttons, not explaining anything to you. It's trying to be so simplistic because it's, trying to be on the edgy.
It's so simplistic you can't even understand what's going on.
Right. And so I know that can be difficult for different generations, different people. So just be brave with it and try to work to expand to who you think, not just who you think your target audience is, but based on some research that you might have done to who your target audience is. I think that's an effective way to get your voice out there, your products out there, and just kind of spreading your word.
That's awesome. All right, kind of shifting a little bit away from that.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mark do you want your company to leave on the community?
I'd really like to just be the guy who helps local businesses grow. I don't know. That's probably the most cliche, plain way to put it. But I just want to help grow. So I have a love for the school, love for Georgia, love for Athens. I grew up here. This is my home. So I want this city to grow and be great, and every entrepreneur in the city to find success, every student athlete at Georgia to find success. And I want to help both of them. And so I want to be the guy who helps both the athlete, find deals that make sense, help them build their personal brand, understand financial literacy. And for the entrepreneur, I want them to find success in marketing through a Georgia athlete, because University of Georgia trademarks are expensive.
Oh my gosh!
Not all these local businesses can pay for them to pair with marketing efforts. So it's a great way and a great avenue for local businesses to kind of tag along with the success of a person rather than just the G or just the standing bulldog. It's a person. It's Javon Bullard. It's, this tennis player. It's that soccer player. So I like to be the guy that helps businesses grow.
Yeah.
Essentially.
You're like that connecting link.
Yeah. So being boots on the ground for everybody, helping out where I can, even if I'm not asked, just being intentional with everything. So
another question kind of going on that same track. When you first heard the words "make your remarkable," what did that mean to you?
I was like, wow, that's kind of creative. First off, but I just, for me personally, I like I said, my community oriented aspect for me personally, and for guys like JB, he wants to help his hometown. So we'd like to expand that way to help his hometown too, and the entrepreneurs there, not just in Athens, Georgia, but in Milledgeville, Georgia.
Yeah.
We think that every player can be that and embody that and help grow. It's not just about themselves. It's not just about the dollar signs. And I say growth so vaguely, but it can be so many different avenues that it can be measured, but it can be all these different things. Like the Bullard deal blew up, PR stuff. Like we didn't even think we'd have to deal with that. So but yeah, making my mark on the community as far as being the guy who helps grow. So I know I keep circling back to that.
No, it's a great thing.
It's the word, yeah.
it's a good thing that you keep coming back to the same answer, because that means it's truly what you value, and it's a good thing to know. Yeah. Again, one last question on the same kind of thing. What does the word remarkable mean to you?
To do things to the best ability that you can, with the highest integrity that you can, being transparent, intentional, showing people you care.
Yeah.
That's something that my dad's instilled in me ever since I was a kid. So I like to be remarkable in that sense, showing people that I care, working hard, and always trying my hardest. So
I love asking that question, because every single person has a very different answer. And every single time I'm like shook to my core. I'm just like, Whoa, that's a perfect answer. I didn't even think that there was another perfect answer, but it's awesome to hear how people view remarkable, because I mean, that's what we all kind of strive to be, is a remarkable entrepreneur, a remarkable business owner, remarkable employee, whatever that path is that you're on. It's we all strive to hit that remarkable point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a couple more questions.
Certainly. Yeah.
So how can companies reach out to you if they want to work with you, if they want to learn more about NIL?
Yeah, we're looking at getting a website up soon. Been
Awesome.
slow on that, school, everything, but we're getting the website up soon. I've got an Instagram, so that's probably the best avenue right now. Go straight to my phone. Got alerts. Really good. Just shoot me a DM. You can comment. You can do whatever. Shoot a like. I'll be like, oh, what's up? But I got an email too, but I'd say Instagram probably right now.
Yeah. What's your Instagram handle?
Gaines Group.
Gaines Group. And
Simple
it's
as that.
GAINES, correct?
Yep. Gaines Group.
Awesome.
Group Activations, but the tag is Gaines Group.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about a website. I mean, you started in January. You weren't expecting it to just go boom, like everything
Yeah, it's been special because the owners of Alumni Cookie Dough have been so helpful to me because they took a chance on me.
Yeah.
I didn't have a track record, and now thanks to them, I can kind of put that out there on my resume. Hey, I did this, not just by myself, but with the help of the Dolanders and JB. So,
well, that's the beauty of Athens, Georgia, is the fact that you have such a successful university as the core and the heart of the community.
Yeah.
You have all of these business owners and entrepreneurs that are either alumni of UGA or strongly associated with UGA that want to help grow their community. And they have this perfect resource of students coming out of UGA that are either going for entrepreneurship or are looking for job opportunities. And all of these businesses are able to help grow because of it. Right. It's really this life source that's continuing to push new, innovative people into our community. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Georgia students are the best. I'll say that. So
you're a little biased. I mean, you went to Georgia.
I'm a little biased, but you should hire a Georgia student. Yeah. It's been great growing up in Athens, being at Georgia, all the resources they provided me, all the people I've got to meet just through, not even just through Georgia, but just from being here and being in this community, not even just in Athens, it's the surrounding counties as well. So it's just special being an entrepreneur in this area.
It really is.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming. I mean, seriously, and just talking about your journey and what it's like to be an Athens entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Also, all about your NIL deals and the Bullards Buckeye
Cookie Crunch.
The Bullards Buckeye Cookie Crunch. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get that down. I promise. But that, I mean, it's awesome, and just the opportunities you've had. It's been so cool to see and just hear what your journey's been like.
Yeah, I'm glad I could share it with you.
So thanks again. Thanks so much for coming.
Cool.